What is up, YouTube, and welcome to this Falcon and the Winter Soldier finale review, breakdown, recap, and review. This is easily the best episode of the season, and definitely the best episode of so far the new Disney Plus MCU TV shows, and if only for the stunning speech that Sam Wilson gave as the new Captain America at the end, which is possibly the greatest single piece of writing in the entirety of the MCU, and sticks out for me even more than We Don't Trade Lives, Tony, or I Am Iron Man. Now we open with Carly speaking to her Flag Smasher crew as we see shots of Bucky and Sam heading to the vote, which has been attacked, and she is very much for real, having her views confirmed by constantly being chased by the good guys when she just wants to make the world, in her eyes, a better place. And I love how Sharon arrived Mission Impossible style with a mask that was pretty funny and provides the assist, except, well, we know who she really is, kind of, and what her sorta, kinda true agenda is. However, the Flag Smashers' plan all along was not only to stop the vote, but also use the politicians as leverage to create a one world. Now, personally, I think that this whole vote thing was absolutely, completely and utterly mitigated by the fact that the pandemic storyline was actually cut from the show. I know, we're big boys, we're big girls, we can handle the story about a pandemic during a pandemic. I don't know why they cut that out, as it makes the whole part of the Flag Smashers a bit null and void. However, Sam is on the case to stop the Flag Smashers, and I loved how even with the cliffhanger last week, they wait for us to see him in his Captain America suit just a little longer, but he smashes into the building, and oh boy, does that suit look $1 trillion, because yeah, it's probably got vibranium in it. But it is, of course, his Captain America suit from the comics, and he looks unreal here with the wings as well as the shield and the whole kit and caboodle. However, his regal entry is, short-lived as Batroc the Leaper, of course hired by Sharon for Carly. He's here to face off with him. However, the evacuation is taking place, but Carly has her followers in every single facet of those in charge, as one of her followers is in charge of evacuating the politicians, and one even hands Bucky a phone as a distraction, which is pretty funny. And I do wonder how they got their app there on the iOS App Store or other stores. However, Sharon is on the case and kills one of the followers who planted the device on the trucks and roasts Bucky for being late, which was pretty hilarious. But he had to give an ideology debate first, jeez. Also, the way she kills the guy was absolutely gruesome as Sam fights Batroc, which was a stunning fight. Of course, GSP is a UFC legend, so we'll make it look like $1 million, but Sam has been training hard with that shield. But the way he kicks it up like Steve used to do and hits Batroc in the face was just absolutely jaw-dropping. To be honest, all of the action was jaw-dropping this episode, and I really loved how he threw it and then caught it while flying. His target is one of the helicopters there evacuating people, as Carly is on the ground giving her hardcore speech to her people. Surely one of them is like, I was just in this for the banner. I don't really want to die. But yeah, they all die in the end. Orcs. Now, the moment when Sam lands saving some pilots and reveals himself was shot perfectly. And to be honest, I think that this episode may have been the best shot piece of Marvel content to date. I am simping for this episode. However, we move into one part of the episode I wasn't too much of a fan of as John Walker returns. Yes, John Walker was a douche and took over the mantle of Captain America, having the totally wrong mindset. And yes, he does have a redemption arc in the comics, but here this is far too early as he arrives to finish what he started with Carly, complete with his ghetto-ass shield, which also had a agent badge on there, obviously hinting to him becoming US agent. It hit different when she said that she didn't mean to hurt Lamar as he didn't matter to her plans, and she grins after she kicks his Kirkland signature shield into a building. I thought he would go scorched earth here, but clearly he does regret what he did, as he fights, but without killing anyone, as Sam tries to take down the other helicopter using Red Wing to get in contact with the pilot. That was absolutely awesome. But the way he used the shield was beyond cool on launching it from his back in midair. I also like how he said, "I'm trying something different" to Carly, a clear nod to him debuting as Cap in an all-new, all-different Marvel. On the ground, John Walker continues to fight, and I kind of expected that he would be the dominant one on the ground due to his training combined with the serum, but it's a close call as the truck almost falls and Sam saves it, and man, how cool were those mini Red Wings pushing it up. And if that wasn't enough, him landing to stare off against Carly was just dope. But yeah, Batroc is here to be a party pooper as they head into the tunnels, where we get the most obvious reveal to date in the all of the MCU. Sharon Carter is indeed the Power Broker. Now, of course, the Power Broker was Curtis Jackson in the comics and provided John Walker and Lamar with their powers, but it seems here she's simply trying to work with Carly, seemingly to make the world a better place in her twisted way. Now, clearly Sharon has the similar views at least, but Carly did become too much for her to control and obviously stole the super soldier serum. It makes sense, as post-Civil War Sharon was thrown on a scrap heap, and even post-Blip she didn't even get a pardon when the mass murderer, the Winter Soldier, did, even if he was under mind control. It was clear that she was going to be this power broker, as she had a great life in Madripoor, and that's where evil people go to, do evil things like put Lego out for people to trip over, and would have known exactly where to get the serum from, and has a lot of contacts due to, her shield and spy days. However, Batroc crashes the party again and tries to blackmail Sharon for identity, but Sharon, the badass she is, shoots him as she gets shot. Rip. However, Carly is shot by Sharon to save Sam. Everyone's getting shot, which was a smart move by her, as she will be seen as the reluctant hero to the wider world and explains her pardon. However, the funniest thing was when John Walker shows his rehab self as he quotes Abraham Lincoln, and the rest of the Smashers are arrested instead of killed. Of course, that shows instead of simply killing them, the mercy he shows will lead to a better world. But I howled with laughter when he did say it was a good quote, and Bucky said, yeah, not when said by this guy. Now, the speech from Sam that he makes was absolutely stunning. I had goosebumps the whole time. And, well, it's similar to the one he makes in his first issue as Captain America, but this one was just so good, especially as it does actually fit with what's going on in life. He essentially says that the rich politicians make decisions that affect people's lives on the daily without even having those affected in the room, and didn't even ask why Carly and her followers are doing what they're doing as they go full ahead with their vote. Now, of course, we have the whole terrorist freedom fighter argument, and I think the real key here is just not stopping to ask, wait, why are you doing this? But yes, the politicians are so far removed, they have the same power as Thanos to wipe out half of a nation, and they can really do anything at the send of an email. It was a great speech, and one which I think will be quoted a lot from here until the end of time. However, while I thought the Flag Smashers would continue, as there was actually 2 in the comics, and we had the whole thing with Ultimatum and things like that with the Red Skull, but Zemo's butler was the one who killed the stragglers. As Zemo hears this and smiles, his work is finished. We might see him in the future, I would possibly imagine, but we get John Walker in his full suit with Val appearing once more, and Julia Louis-Dreyfus again is hilarious, saying that, well, was it her, wasn't her, that sort of thing, which just had me in bits. But his suit is, of course, the one he had in the comics as US Agent, and like I said, he had his badge earlier. He became US Agent when he left the mantle of Captain America in sort of disgrace after working for the Commission for Superhuman Activities in the comics, an org set up to work on superhuman affairs, and appointed him as US Agent and sent him as a liaison to the West Coast Avengers. Yeah, hopefully that's something that gets set up soon, but he would later join the Thunderbolts and even the Dark Avengers. Now this hints that is a clear setup for some sort of new team within the MCU. Now there are rumours of Julia being in Black Widow, and considering that Black Widow was supposed to debut long before this series, I was so ready to pre-order my tickets. And this is a clear setup for something or whatever the damn thing she was doing in that movie. Pretty interesting. Now, in the mop-up of other plotlines, Bucky atones for his sins, finally telling his friend that he killed his son, and sends the book to his therapist with his debt now paid. I did see some people say that they felt this was a bit rushed, but what did you want? It's just someone saying sorry against someone who was just in the MCU only in the first or second episode. Now, Sam also seemingly goes to Isaiah Bradley to get his blessing, and I imagine as we finally hear from his grandson, we hear more from him talking and things like that. He's in the comics, he becomes Patriot after lying and saying that he has superpowers from his grandfather's blood, but really, he's taken mutant steroids. It was touching seeing Bradley's legacy cemented in the Captain America exhibit, and I almost let a tear out as he heads home. But that's not all, as we get a post-credits scene of Sharon Carter getting her justice of a pardon and her old job back, which seemingly she instantly starts to use to sell government secrets and the like, which is going to be very, very fun to see. However, you have to wonder, who is she talking to? Now, considering Valentina has access to the heart of government, in my eyes, it could not be her or General Ross, as he also has a high position, but these two could use her as a broker, do you get it, to do stuff they can't do legally. Do I like this? Well, yeah, I do. It makes sense. And to be honest, without Steve Rogers and a lot of the stories from the comics being adapted, well, I think that it's arguably a good time for her to do something new. And her just being part of new Team Cap would be pretty predictable. However, a left field theory is that during the blip, the Skrulls saw it as an opportunity to actually infiltrate Earth and replace those who could have been blipped, and she is indeed a Skrull, considering Secret Invasion had major characters. But to be honest, a more grounded theory is that she may become part of whatever Team US agent is and will have some version of the Thunderbolts or something similar. But that is it for this video. I loved this series from start to finish. It was a lot more consistent, I think, than, of course, WandaVision, but it did suffer from the same problems that had by just having a first episode which was a bit weird and didn't really progress the story as much. Hopefully Loki hits the ground running. But that is it. I'll see you soon. Do check out my Invincible video, which is already up, and I'll see you soon, and goodbye.